Hi, Malcolm.
Hi, Ruth. How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thanks. Have you got a moment to go through the task list?
Sure.
Yeah, my assistant Ruth is in Melbourne, and we talk several times every day. We work through a task list, and this just gives a little bit of structure and order to what we're working on, and make sure commitments that we've made are met.
Okay, terrific. Thanks a lot, Malcolm.
See you, Ruth. Bye. My name's Malcolm Deary. I'm the Group General Manager for Health, Safety and the Environment for Programmed, which is a publicly listed company in Australia with its head office here in Perth. Nick, just wanted to catch up in regard to the alert. I worked in operations in a steel mill, so I was actually an operational person. I actually oversaw, managed work crews, and we went through a way of approaching safety slightly differently to what had been done in the past. And what we did was we didn't do safety, we worked safely. So I then moved from that operational role into to start to work in safety, and then I in turn studied safety and risk. If people are interested in moving into safety, you don't move into a very senior role straight away. As you get more and more experience, you understand the business, understand the drivers, understand how to interpret data. That's where your value comes to the business, and that's where people get promoted. Immediate tools such as phones and iPads and laptops play a role in how we work. We're putting in place systems, an app on phones whereby customers can watch the progress of their job, and they have contact details for the supervisor and the manager overseeing their job, and that will continue to grow. For example, the idea of iPads and tablets going out into the field, being able to take measurements that are shot straight back to project managers. Decisions can be made about the right equipment or costing, and also we will share if injuries have occurred on that job and why that injury occurred and what we've done to prevent that. I spend a lot of time in the field. Just to give you one example, we have a thing called safety conversations, and our most senior manager in the business expects everyone to go out and talk to people about their safety. So at a very, very practical level, several times a week, I go out and talk to people. I ask them to stop what they're doing, and we have that conversation. The only reason that my role exists is to look after people at the job face. That's the only reason we exist, is to ensure that we provide systems and processes that the people actually doing the job can do that in a reasonable, smooth and efficient manner.
Pretty comfortably?
It's just imperative to running any business that you can talk to everyone. Now, not everyone's got that skill. I appreciate that, but if you can't do that, therefore you're not going to get good feedback. You're not going to understand where your business is at. You're not going to understand the challenges that people have got, whether they're sort of operational, safety. You need to be able to engage people, and engagement is a very, very powerful word, because that means you need to be able to get your message across, but equally you've got to be able to absorb and understand the message that's coming back. You need some business skills. You need to understand what it is that makes the business world tick over. The idea of making a profit is absolutely essential if the business world is going to tick over, and we're going to continue to employ people and employ more people and all of those sorts of things. If you really want to strive for those quite senior roles, is to understand what strategy is. Where are we going and how are we going to get there? Probably the simplest way of describing strategy. People need to be problem solvers, have problem solving skills. They need to be well organised, and have a good capacity for work. The program you're developing for us, being able to work in safety in the way that I do, I get a lot of satisfaction, because I know there are less people injured today than there were a year ago, because of systems and processes and language that we've educated and what we've taught people. So that's very, very satisfying. However, I know that as a result of that, we've also added value to the business, because we're much more efficient. And we're much more efficient because we're injuring less people. So I get the satisfaction of knowing I've also contributed to the efficiency and therefore the well-being of the business.